Is your 100k goal a trap? Most photographers chase turnover but end up with zero freedom. Today, Fabrizia Costa reveals how to stop effing around and start reverse engineering a business that actually serves your life. Let's look at the maths behind commercial photography success right now.
Welcome to Commercial Photographer, your guide to marketing, creativity, and growth. This is a podcast that helps commercial, brand, and headshot photographers navigate the competitive world of commercial photography with actionable strategies to grow your business.
Hello and welcome to Commercial Photographer. It's just me, Sam, today for the show, and today I've got a guest. So I'm speaking today to Fabrizia Costa, photographer, mentor, and author of Stop Fucking About. Hi, Fabrizia. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Sam. It's really nice to be here.
Excellent. So today we've been chatting out, and the theme of today's show is going to be about how, as a photographer, you can reach over that 100,000K mark as your income. Today, we're joined by photographer and mentor Fabrizia Costa to discuss breaking the 100K barrier. We aren't just talking about turnover, we're talking about profit and the freedom to your own time. We'll dive into the math of business and why you must choose a deliberate model rather than just chasing more activity. Fabrizia explains why price resistance is actually a positioning problem and how personal projects build the gold dust. Visibility that ads can't touch. Plus, we tackle the growth gap and why you'll spend 4K on a camera but hesitate to invest in the photography business efficiency that actually scales your income.
Yeah, that is a really good figure. But I'll start off with a but.
The word starting with a but already.
Yeah, because that is a very good hook line, isn't it? It's like, it's what everybody goes like, I want to make 100K, going to reach 100K. Yeah. But there's two things that are really important to set out right off the bat. And it's when we talk about six figures and beyond, you do need to separate revenue from profit, right? So
you're ruining my first question already here, Fabrizia.
Well, 100K turnover is not 100K income, so, and it's definitely not 100K freedom, which to me is what really matters. We are entrepreneurs. We work for ourselves because we want the freedom to do what the hell we want with our time, with our money, with our decisions. It's the ups and downs, but also that freedom is why we do this. So, if you are talking about 100K slogging 100 hours a week and doing, 50 weddings at 2K is 100K. Also, is 15 weddings at 7K is 100K. And that's revenue. That's not profit, right?
Yeah.
So there are two completely different businesses, though, one and the other. And they're two completely different lives. And that is what matters to me. So the question is not how do we hit and go beyond 100K, is what kind of 100K am I building and what structure supports it without breaking me? Yeah. Right? Was that your first question?
That's fine. That makes a lot of sense.
So, the math is really important. You need to reverse engineer all of this. So to reach 100K or to go beyond 100K, you need a number of clients, an average sale, a margin, and that is where your profit comes in. And so, how many clients do you need at what average sale? That becomes, there is no right or wrong. Some people like to go lower end weddings and do lots of them because they just love to be out there and work every weekend or every day of the week. Some people want very few higher end and a more accurate service, a higher level of service and all that kind of more interaction with the clients and all that sort of thing. So none of them are right or wrong. We're all different, but it is a deliberate choice. And it's important
so the key
we make the choice.
Yeah, that's the key. You've got to think about it and plan for it and work out, if I'm starting at 100K, how am I working it back? We, like you say, how much is my average income per client? How many clients do I want? And then you're aiming for that, rather than just kind of carrying on regardless and hoping you might get there one day.
Yeah, because you need to define a model. You can't just chase activity. I just want more clients, more clients. What kind of clients, And so that brings us to the second thing, which is your positioning, which is what creates your margin. So obviously, 6 figures, that they don't come from like tons of marketing. They come from clearer marketing or clearer positioning. And price resistance is always about your positioning, right? It's about like if you are perceived as a high value thing, people will pay lots of money for it. If you're perceived as a low value thing, it's very simple. People will not be willing to pay extra for it. So that is the key thing to going beyond the 100K, 200K, 500,000. Then there is no limit to that. But if you are going to just chase clients, and that means you're going to run offers and special discounts and all that kind of stuff, that's going to totally get you some cash next week, and it's a strategy to get cash, but it'll totally sabotage you long term. Your business is going to be devalued. As the more you do that, the less value you're going to. People are just going to wait for the sale. And so then it's going to be really hard to charge a premium price for what you do. And to get yourself out of that rut is much harder than just sticking to your guns and kind of raising your level, as you go. And there's different ways to do that, which we're going to go into in a minute. But, it's like paying for ads to sell shoots and all that. It doesn't work anymore, It really doesn't work anymore. So that part of marketing is completely useless. There is a much better ways to do your marketing, be visible, and raise your level, your position, so that you can charge a premium price for what you do.
Okay, excellent. Right? Are you saying there's kind of no limit to what your income would be? Are you thinking that literally as an individual person, or are you thinking kind of as an individual, you probably need to start then working with other people to take it, to the next level beyond that?
Okay, well, in theory, there is no income to what you can earn. If you become, and it all goes back to how you position yourself. If you are a celebrated author as a photographer, and you can sell your prints for £10,000. Some people do that, and you can, that goes into art. That goes into, you can shoot weddings at, very high levels and charge a lot of money for them. For instance, I will tell you a little bit about my story later, but one of the things that I did when I started doing weddings, and then I quickly figured out that I didn't like shooting big weddings. I wanted very small, high-end weddings. And my weddings, I'm talking 15 years ago, in the mountains of Austria, in a tiny village, so like, not much, glamour. It's not London, right? And, I think my smallest wedding was £6,000. My highest was 10. It was that kind of level there. And I had weddings of less than 20 people, 10 people. One was 5 people, including bride and groom. I spent £7,000 on their photos. So it's about how you deliberately want to position yourself in the market and the sort of thing that you really want to do. I'm not saying that everybody should do that, it's great. We need photographers that do those weddings with, 400 guests and 3 days of celebrations. They were not for me. So I made a choice. It's deliberate. Who we go after as a client is a choice. It's not like, come all, come fast, come quick, come cheap, right?
Yeah, it's that, like we said earlier, it's that decision and deliberate planning, isn't it? What is your approach?
Absolutely. And to go about the practicality of that, for instance, I found that partnerships worked a lot better for me than just paid ads or things like that. So a partnership with, I went to like a high end, and I was just starting. I was decent as a photographer, obviously, but I wasn't known there. I just arrived. Nobody knew me. I was a foreigner. I didn't even speak the language. So it was like difficult. But I partnered with a high-end jeweler, and I said, if anybody buys an engagement ring over this amount, this is a voucher for a couple shoot that you can gift them. So it was a partnership thing. The gift came from the jeweler, not from me. And then
so you still got paid?
I didn't get paid. Those were free, a freebie. But then if I shoot your engagement, your couple's portrait before the wedding, and the engagement ring comes at least a year before a wedding, right?
Yeah.
So by that time, I was in a really good position to get that wedding, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with dresses, high-end dresses. This is about wedding. But I did the same with my car dealer. They sold Toyota and Lexus. If you bought a Lexus, family portraits and personal portraits, if you bought a car, they give. So they really worked to sort of get my target audience. You need to partner.
Yeah, so you're thinking about what products you could hook up with. What are those premium products that kind of, aren't necessarily what you'd think of? Like you said, a Lexus car, and you're thinking, how does a photographer, does a Lexus car get anything to do with me? But you kind of have to think it through, don't you? We had another photographer on a while ago who said he went to artisan makers markets, when people are selling olives and artisan bread. And he said it was nothing to do with him being an artisan maker. It was simply because if somebody had 10 quid in their back pocket to spend on a loaf of bread, they would not ask him the price of a photo shoot.
Yeah. Well, you need to go to whoever has your target audience.
Yeah.
And then you need to bullshit your way through to them to make them think that you're already at that level. You're actually getting there, right?
Yeah.
But you need to show up as the person that is at their level, and your audience is their audience. You're after the same target audience. And then you gift them something that is valuable to them. They show up looking good at no cost. It's just an extra gift to their clients. And, it's personal relationships, as, it's really all about that.
Yeah.
And the other thing that creates your positioning is personal projects. And this is what a lot of people struggle with, because they're all busy working, or trying to get clients and trying to do this stuff. And they think that a personal project is a luxury, and I get to it when I have the time, which is never, right?
Yeah.
Well, they don't know what to do. They have a few half-baked ideas, or, like that, which is why I wrote the book. Stop Fucking About is about attention, intention, execution. And it's about how we get shit done, but in a way that fits us. And I won't go into it now because we don't have time, but, people can go to the website and check it out or whatever and find it. And it's about helping getting these projects done. Ideas are cheap. Finished projects change your life. You can do something. And this is also how I bootstrapped my business. I started doing some social projects and some other projects that made me very, very visible in my area. Yeah. And that is how people got to know who I was, what I did, and then that's where my clients came from.
Yeah, we interviewed a little while ago a top London ad photographer. You go to his website, Joe Giacomet, you go to his website, you'll recognize lots of brands, and he was telling us about his personal project, and that's largely how he got found over lockdown. Lots of time. He made some fun football cards. But when you heard the time and the effort he put in that personal project, and that just from there, it ballooned. And now, if you want ad photos with him, the prices he can charge, are through the roof.
Exactly. And that is your positioning through your personal projects, right? Yeah. You get yourself out there as an author, as a thinker, as somebody that has something to say beyond the baby photo or the wedding photo, the commercial work that you do. And then people come to you because they resonate with that. And they go I want to work with the person who did that because I really, really care about it, or I loved it, or it was, great fun, or whatever it was. And so that is a huge thing that people underestimate. And that's why I've been mentoring photographers for 10 years. Yeah. I worked personally with over 1,000, probably almost 2,000. And I see that as one of the things that very few people do. It's huge leverage for your positioning in the market. It's huge visibility. You can talk about it, and for social media, it's like gold, right?
Yeah. So
it's
just
much more
to clarify, although we're calling it a personal project,
baby I photographed the other day.
Yeah. So although we're calling it a personal project, and it will be your
happened?
ideas and your thoughts, you are making it public, as it were. It's not it's not a personal project. It's in it. Don't show anyone.
Yeah.
So although we're saying personal projects, it's your ideas and thoughts, but it's not something you keep to yourself. You're saying it's a personal project that you then make public, but the idea is not being paid for it, but you are sharing it publicly.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's something you care about, and it talks about you, right?
Yeah.
It gets people to know you.
Do you also then balance it with your target audience, though? So although it's a personal project, it's got to be something you care about, but you also have to blend into that. Who is my target audience and what resonates with me and with them, and kind of make it mesh somewhere in the middle? Or do you just make it, this is me?
This is me. Your personal project is your personal project. It's not an advertising. It's not a hook for your audience. It's not, you can do those as well. I mean, that's like, those are marketing projects, which can be kind of a hybrid. Like, I'm going to talk about this, but when I talk about Lego, it's because I'm really, I love it and I do it, and I spend a lot of time doing stuff, and I'm in Lego groups, and I talk to, I don't publish a lot, but because the way I structure work is building and architecture and stuff of how we structure our work, it fits into how my mind works and how I am. And, there's clients out there who love Lego, and if they have money, they will come to me. I have work, this photographer who started photographing, heavily tattooed photographer, only photographs tattooed brides. And when he switched to that and niched down to that, it became like hugely successful, because it just connects with people who have the same passion. If you love, going on a bike or doing, maybe you do a photography thing about that, so putting yourself into your brand, this is ultimately all about identity. And the identity, branding is identity work. Before, it's not logos and palettes of colors and fonts and things, It's about your voice. It's about your personality. It's about your identity. And that's where working with a mentor really helps, because you can't really see yourself so much and so clearly when you're too close to yourself. And that's what brings us to the next thing that I really want to say. And that is that there is a reluctance to invest in personal growth, let's call it that, for your business. We are all happy to lay out 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 quid for a camera or lighting or whatever. But then when it comes to spending that kind of money on mentorship or on something that will help us run our business like a business and not like a hobby, which is the biggest problem. I invested in a coach as soon as I could afford a teeny bit of it. And I have not stopped, because there is no, business is a long game. There is no end of the growth. And so that is something that people really need to understand. In the old days, if you wanted to have a business, you had to rent a shop, you had to rent an office, you had to get a secretary, you had to invest a serious amount of money and pay for advertising and do all sorts of things to set up a business. Now you can set it up with your phone, right? And you're done. It doesn't mean that you should not invest in the business, not just in the gear. So that is a big sticky point.
Okay. And yourself, from the sound of it as well, because that investing in yourself is investing in the business too. It's an investment
in yourself. It's your growth. You can only hold as much revenue as you are, right? So to break through 100K, let's say, to earn that money, you need to become the person who can earn that money, who earns that money. And to do something you've never done before, you have to become someone you've never been before. Growing a business is all about personal growth. It's not about just growing the business and you stay the same person. There is no such thing as that. Our business is our life, and our business impacts our, We go through roller coasters of emotions. We go through fear. We go through excitement. We go through all of that stuff. It's all about us, right? So you're investing in yourself and you're investing in somebody who can come alongside you and not tell you what to do. That's the last thing you want. But help you see yourself, help develop your potential, help you see your, clear path in front of you and, lay down the tracks for where your business, where you want it to go. So that is hugely important and hugely underestimated. And the people
So is
who
that
do
also linked to, so because you were talking earlier about show up as the person, when you show up, you've got the high-end client show up. Is that also linked to that person development will help you show up as the right person?
Absolutely.
In the way you act, the way you behave, the way you come across?
Absolutely. People say, oh, just be yourself. Now tell me the most useless piece of advice you've ever heard, right? How do you be yourself? Do I stick a finger up my nose or something? It's like, what? It's understanding your own personality in connection with the work that you love to do and how these things come together and really, and I hate to use this word, alignment, but really come together in it's almost organic way. And then that's where your powerhouse starts to happen. Okay. And then there's another point that is really important right now in the UK. Yeah. There is, because we watch the news and the economy and there is no money, there is no money, there is no money. Rubbish. Louis Vuitton is not doing sales, right? Yeah. There always has been money. Money is out there. And the people who have struggled to put food on the table were never your clients in the first place, right? So we get really sucked into this economy difficulties and problems. But the truth is, people keep buying iPhones, people keep going out to dinner, people keep spending. People find, this is one of the mantras of my of my course, is that people find the money for what they want. Always. And I see that with photographers who work with me and they find the money to do that. And I see this with people buying shoes, I have 1,000 stories about people really clients that were not well off and spent lots of money because they really wanted it. They really valued it. So it's not about the money. The photography is not a must have. It's not food on the table or heating. It's a nice to have, but it's also an important to have in people's lives. And it's gorgeous to have if you do it well. So, understanding that if you believe there is no money, you're going to be working on that energy level and you're going to be going like there's this anxiety about nobody can pay.
Yeah. And then presumably that drives your prices down and you're just in a vicious spiral, aren't you?
Exactly. I have just made a decision to start a new program called The Studio. And I've made it smaller, closer for fewer people, very selective and twice as expensive as what I did before, because it's time to work with people that really want to work seriously about things. And these group coaching programs with 100 or 200 people in them where, it's cheap and you just get information. Information is cheap. I'm going to do a video with and this is my announcement. This whole course, this whole program is going to be free on YouTube over the next 2 or 3 months. I'm preparing that. It's free. Information is worth nothing. Working closely with somebody who can really do the work with you, that is something else. And you need to, really think about, not everybody will be ready for this, but grow towards this sort of thing. Aim for this sort of thing. Aim to get, that kind of. There is a reason why the biggest CEOs in the world are surrounded by high-end consultants and counselors and people who are better than them to do certain things, right? Because you cannot do everything yourself. We don't know everything, right? You need other people. And so that's the kind of goal, I think, or direction that everybody should be thinking about. It's like, even if I can't afford something, I will learn. I will spend time learning these things, get whatever me and other people offer free on the internet, spend time working on that sort of thing. these interviews are really valuable because they just give you that mindset. I hope to provoke some different thinking in people. It's not about hacks. It's not how to get the 30K in 30 days. My goodness, stay away from those. This is not the point. We want 3 million in 3 years. That's
So something that made me think there, because you're saying getting help with things, is as well, if you're kind of working towards that higher income, does outsourcing come into that a lot? So you're going to have to go, right, I can't sit here if I'm earning that much money doing those many photo shoots or whatever it is, doing my own accounts or whatever it is. As you start to earn more, does outsourcing really come into that to empower you to have the time to learn and to do more?
Absolutely. And I always say, AI is a big help as well for like editing and different things like that, not to create images, but to help us work faster. I've always said, even before we had these amazing editing tools and helps, I would say, outsource your basic editing to somebody else, because your time is much better spent. You will create more revenue by working on yourself and your marketing than by sitting there for 6 hours doing like straightening out horizon lines and doing white balance, that kind of stuff can all be. And then you take the best 20 images and edit them with your magic and your special touch. Those are the things that go on the wall. Those are the hero images that are going to be like those. But everything else is like someone else can do that. That is like, that is like factory work, So those things and accounting and, things like that, you've got to start delegating. And the problem there is our personality. We're such control freaks. You have to do. So many people said, I can't possibly let someone else do my editing. Honestly, you're not Avedon, There are a ton of skilled retouchers out there who work so much better than you. They are so much better than you. I never wanted to spend 100 million hours mastering Photoshop. I don't give a shit about Photoshop. I use Lightroom. I do what needs to be done. I outsource the things. And then if I needed some Photoshop work, I get someone else to do it in 10 minutes. It would take me like half an afternoon, so some people love it. Some people say, but I really like working on, great. Do what you love, but don't, your time is limited and this is our greatest asset. Time is more valuable than money. And that is something.
I think that's key, isn't it? So I think that's really been key throughout this whole conversation, hasn't it? That it's about personal growth and about planning and thinking rather than just kind of continuing through your day. And I'm doing some editing now. You've actually gone, right, what is my time most valuable spent doing? What am I best getting somebody else to do? What is going to best progress me and my business? And the best way to do that, rather than just kind of bumbling through from day to day, not really thinking about it at all.
Yeah. And two things that I'm going to give to your audience. One is a PDF about keep your brand voice using AI. So people use ChatGPT to write posts and to write, or Claude or whatever, to write stuff. And you read these posts now and it's just horrible. They all sound the same. They use the same word. They use the same emoji. It's just so bad. And even if some of them try to get better, they're still bad. And so they're still all very beige and very much the same stuff. So that PDF is something that I made for the Societies of Photographers talk. I did their business school a month ago, and it was about how to keep your voice in using ChatGPT or whatever. So that is, which I called ChatGNT. That's my AI. And so the people could download that and really work on it. It's a thing with practical stuff to do and really kind of nail their own voice a bit better, personal thing again. And the other thing, which is something I'm quite happy to give your audience, because this takes a little bit of my time, but is a reality check about where you're at. And what is your sticky point? What is your, what you need to think about. And it's a Google form, takes 5 minutes. It comes through to me, and within a week or so, I get back to you via email and tell you a few things. So that is like a big
That sounds
gift.
like a I want to do this myself now, Fabrizia, I think. Is it allowed for non-photographers? Can I have a reality check?
Yeah. And for instance, I did this is a 5-minute thing. And I have with the big course that I'm going to publish, I'm going to have a 25-minute thing for people who really want to hone in on that. And it comes back to me and I will give answers. I think time is the most precious asset. If I give time to my even potential clients, that's going to be the best thing, rather than say, download the PDF. The PDF for the GPT is a practical tool. So I like that. It's not just telling you like 3 pages of highly unprintable stuff and then a lot of stuff about, look how many people I helped and scan this and buy this. And there's none of that in there. It's very practical. And this is my time that I would rather spend connecting with people, giving them something that they can action on, because and maybe not now, but next year as you do, or if I can help you, eventually that's how you nurture your future clients. And I think as photographers, that's what I did before. I would do certain, different things to like really connect with people.
Perfect. I think.
And doing some of the social work, the school work, all of that was free work that got me clients. People appreciate your time.
And don't forget that you can get for free the Commercial Photographer Guide to Creativity and Marketing. After all, that's what this show is all about. To get your free download, all you need to do is go to our website at commercial-photographer-podcast.com/creativity. Let me do that one again. commercial-photographer-podcast.com/creativity. And from there, you can get your free guide from us to marketing and creativity.
That was a real wake-up call. Here are my 3 rapid-fire takeaways. Don't just work harder, decide on the life model you want and build the numbers to support it. Real SEO for photographers in 2026 is about being an author and an authority through your personal work, not just your keywords. And finally, stop being a gearhead and start being an entrepreneur. To earn what you never earned, you have to become someone you've never been.
Perfect. I think that is an amazing place to end. Okay, so we'll put the links in the show notes so you can get all of Fabrizia's marvelous advice that she's offering. I think a reality check from Fabrizia sounds a very, very good way to go. Definitely sit down before you open that one. I don't think it's it's not gonna subtly give you a reality check is my impression of this. So thank you so much, Fabrizia.
Well, it's a simple thing. It's a 5-minute thing. But anyway, thank you for having me. This has been fun. I always love to see you and chat with you. And till the next one.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us. See you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. If you want to make sure you never miss a show, head to the website commercial-photographer-podcast.com and sign up to the newsletter. We'll be back next week with more practical advice to help you grow your business. See you next time.